Imagine this: you're shirtless, tied to a warped plank, and a clay pot is clamped upside down on your stomach. Inside, a dozen sewer rats scratch and squeal, hungry, frantic, and now feeling heat. A soldier drops glowing coals on top. The clay turns into an oven. The rats panic. The only soft place to escape is you. They start chewing, and they don't stop. One question: how long could you take it before you begged for death? Stick around, because the real answer is worse than you think. Welcome back to the corners of history they skip in class. Today, we're wading into the Dutch Revolt, the war that carved the Netherlands out of Spain's grip and into one of its ugliest little secrets, the rat bucket. No iron spikes, no complicated gears, just a clay bowl, hot coals, and Europe's meanest rodents. By the end you'll know how it worked, why it scared generals and farmers alike, and where else this horror show has popped up since. Keep your stomach steady, let's roll. It's 1570. Dutch rebels are scrapping with Spanish troops, and the rivers are thick with mercenaries who'd switch sides for a hot meal. Rebel commander Diederik Sarnoy needed prisoners to spill secrets fast. His DIY solution: a clay bowl, a sack of rats, and a shovel of coals. Bowl goes mouth down on the prisoner's bare belly. Rope seals the rim, coals go on top. Clay heats slow but stays hot like a stone from hell. In minutes the rats go berserk. Their only exit is through flesh. No blades, no gunpowder, just claws, teeth, and instinct. One eyewitness said the screaming carried across the camp. Most prisoners confessed to anything: heresy, treason, cavorting with the devil within 5 minutes. Survival rate after a full session: next to zero. The torture starts before the first bite. You feel the rats land, claws skittering across your skin, but nothing hurts yet. You know what's coming. Every heartbeat is a drum roll. Smell the smoke, hear the thump of tiny bodies against clay, and your brain paints horrors worse than any wound. When heat finally hits, the first nibble feels like a sewing needle. Then another, then a chunk. Your mind folds long before your guts do. Dutch Calvinist preachers nicknamed the bucket the confessor's friend, claiming every heretic saw the light before the rats broke skin. Modern docs call it anticipatory dread, same reason horror films show the shadow before the monster. Sarnoy weaponized it for centuries before Hollywood cashed in. Most names are lost, but one story survived in the diary of a Spanish camp priest, Father Juan de la Cueva, near Haarlem in 1572. Dutch preacher Martin was hauled in for running guns. Sarnoy's men set up the bucket. Martin lasted 90 seconds, 90 before, promising to reveal every hidden cache in the province. They lifted the bowl. Two rats were clamped to his gut like living staples. Surgeons peeled them off with a sound the priest compared to tearing wool. Martin lived, fled to Germany, and spent the rest of his life jumping at shadows. His own words: "It felt as if red-hot pincers pulled my soul through my navel." The priest copied that line verbatim. The scars never faded, and neither did the nightmares. Think the Dutch patented rodent cruelty. Not even close. Elizabethan England had the rats' dungeon under the tower, chained prisoners, rising Thames water, rats scrambling for dry ground. Jump to 1970s Chile. Pinochet's secret police kept rooms where political prisoners met hungry rats. In Argentina, the infamous rectoscope shoved live rats into prisoners, mostly Jewish activists, through a metal pipe. Serial killer Richard Kuklinski bragged, never proven, about tying victims in caves so rats would finish dinner. Even in 2010, a bitter divorce in Jersey saw kidnappers threaten rat torture to force a rabbi to grant a Jewish divorce. Same species, different century. Turns out humanity keeps rediscovering that nothing terrifies like a cornered rat. Forget cinema's Iron Maidens. The rat bucket is cheap, portable, and uses live animals, so the torturer can shrug, "I never laid a hand on him." The clay bowl is both prison and hot plate. Rats are everywhere, no supply chain, no paper trail. Injuries look like a wild animal mauling. Handy if the Inquisition starts asking awkward questions. Military manuals call that plausible deniability. Bonus: Rat bites carry tetanus, sepsis, maybe plague. A prisoner might die days later, letting the jailer blame natural causes. Brutal, efficient, low-tech. If stories like this make your skin crawl in the best, weirdest way, hit subscribe and join the crew who refuse to let history's darkest corners stay buried. New nightmare every week. International law bans torture under the UN Convention, but laws only matter where someone enforces them. Amnesty's 2022 files allege rodent-based threats into modern detention centers, one Eastern Europe, one Southeast Asia. Reports are classified, names blacked out, but the method matches the 1570 playbook: container, rats, heat, panic. So no, the rat bucket didn't retire with ruffs and muskets. It just moved into basements we aren't allowed to see. Sweet dreams. 450 years ago, a Dutch warlord figured out you don't need spikes or swords to break a spirit, just the primal fear of being eaten alive. The rat bucket weaponized that fear with nothing more than clay, coals, and nature's craftiest survivors. Victims talked, soldiers got intel, and history logged another creative cruelty. Next time someone insists we've evolved past medieval barbarism, remember Martin's 90 Seconds of Hell and ask how far we've really come. For more nightmares you skipped in school, hit the next video. And maybe pass on the cheese platter tonight.